The special session of the North Dakota State Legislature begins on Monday, and one of the first orders of business for the legislature will be to hold a hearing regarding the Fighting Sioux nickname. The joint hearing will be held before the House and Senate Education Committees Monday afternoon. It is expected the legislature will advance a bill that would essentially overturn a law adopted earlier this year during the regular session, and would return responsibility for the nickname's fate to the State Board of Higher Education. A Texas oil company agreed to plead guilty and pay a $1,000 fine today after killing a duck during drilling operations. The company, Dallas-based Petrohunt LLC, was charged under the Migratory Bird Treaty Act for the death of a northern shoveler after the bird was found in one of the company's waste pits last May. The company will pay the fine to a nonprofit wildlife group. The United States Labor Department reports that the U.S. economy added 80,000 jobs in October and slightly decreased the unemployment rate from 9.1% to 9%. Analysts say the job addition figure was helped by the return of 45,000 Verizon workers who had been on strike. Today's report also showed that job growth in September and August was significantly stronger than the Labor Department initially believed it was, which gives economists hope that last month's employment growth may have also been better than this first estimate suggests. Cuba announced a new property law yesterday. The law promises to allow citizens and permanent residents to buy and sell real estate there. Experts say this is the most significant market-oriented change to date that has been approved by the Raul Castro government. Cuban media say the new rules go into effect on November 10th. The new law will mark the first time buyers and sellers will be allowed to move and set home prices since the early days of the revolution in Cuba. Well, autumn has definitely set in, but this weekend looks like winter might be making an early move. The National Weather Service issued a winter storm watch for much of North Dakota beginning tomorrow and running through Sunday, and some areas could get as much as 4 inches of snow. Jessica Gulseth is here to tell us more about that, though. Jessica?
Thanks, Matthew. Well, what can I say? It's Friday, so it's a good day no matter the weather, even if you're a little under the weather like me. It became a better day this afternoon as the sun began to shine and we reached a high of 56 degrees. Tonight won't be too cool. We're looking at about 39, 40 degrees. As you mentioned earlier, Matthew, this weekend's looking like it will be a bit stormy. Tomorrow will be about 52 degrees with a slight breeze. Saturday night will cool down to about 35 degrees as the rain and snow begin to fall. There's about a 60% chance of both, so it will be a great night to stay indoors and watch the last performance of Jamestown College's Titanic, or to head to the Civic Center and watch some Jimmy's basketball. Sunday morning, if you decide to go anywhere, church, brunch, or maybe the supermarket, you'll want to go prepared. Sunday, we're only going to see temperatures in the low 40s with a breeze, as well as rain and snow carried in from Saturday. Next Monday and Tuesday will be mostly sunny with highs in the low 40s. Wednesday will be sunny as well with temperatures in the mid to upper 40s. That's the weather for you today, Jamestown. Enjoy your weekend. Now back to you.
Thanks, Jessica. The Jamestown College Theater Department presented the musical Titanic tonight in the Denault Auditorium of the Ryland Fine Arts Center. There is much buzz about the musical, which saw a large turnout to opening night last night. JCTV News correspondent JonTyler Petsch talked with the director of the musical and head of the Jamestown College Theater Department, Michael McIntyre, as well as with the show's musical director and head of the Jamestown College Musical Department, Dr. Richard Wallentyne.
Mr. McIntyre, gotta ask, is this anything like the movie?
Well, both the movie and the play do feature an awful lot of truth, awful lot of the actual characters. If you're familiar with the play, or rather if you're familiar with the movie, it centers around 2 characters that are pure fiction. Okay, the romantic center of that movie are 2 characters that didn't really exist. And what we have in our play are all characters based on fact. There are some liberties taken with a few characters whose names have probably been seen on the roster and so forth. But what is really the center of the story is all of the different characters that really did experience this situation. So those who are officers on board, the captain's story, the story of Bruce Ismay, who is the owner of the White Star Line, of Thomas Andrews, the man who is credited as the architect and the builder of this particular ship, and the experiences of what their ambitions are, what their thoughts are about the achievements that they've made, and then, of course, the devastating, humbling catastrophe, which sort of brings it all back down to harsh reality.
Dr. Wallenstein, how would you describe the music in Titanic?
The music in Titanic is actually Titanic. Not to be punny about it, but it's a fairly large orchestra accompanying the show. We have a group of musicians, about 26 strong, and ranging from a full string section to full percussion. So it is big music.
Wow. What do you like best about the music in this show?
Probably the variety of musical styles in Titanic. The composer has given us numbers of different kinds of songs, everywhere from, or everything from ragtime to scenes that really come across as operatic, to Gilbert and Sullivan, famous operatic composers in the 19th century, to Celtic music, just a wide variety of styles.
What made you choose this production?
Well, I try to always keep abreast of new shows as they come out, and this one came out in 1997. Immediately when I heard the score to it, when I first got the recording of it and listened to it, I thought, this is a magnificent show, and I need to be doing this someday. I from the beginning to end, story and music work together in an incredibly effective way. At that time, we of course didn't have the Ryland Fine Arts Center. We didn't have the type of stage that would allow for the magnitude of this show. Well, 10 years ago, this place was built. I started thinking, well, maybe one of these days I'm going to get around to the show. And I was aware that the 100th anniversary of the disaster is going to come up in 2012 during our school year right now. And so even a while back, a number of years back, I thought that looks to me like the perfect time for us to be presenting it. So it was always an idea lingering for me. When people asked me in the spring, well, what show are we doing in the fall? I kind of withheld telling anybody, not because it wasn't that I didn't really want to do this one. I absolutely wanted us to be able to present it. But the scale of it is so large that you always had kind of this worry about, are we going to get enough people? Are we going to have the technical means to do the things that the show requires? And I'm just delighted to say that all of the things that we've needed in order to be able to do a show of this size have fallen into place. The right people have shown up, and it's going to be a terrific experience.
What do you like best about directing musicals?
What do I like best about directing musicals? Well, I've always enjoyed musicals ever since I was a kid. Although I'm not a trained conductor, I've always enjoyed conducting and leading people to make music. And I guess that would be my passion about music, is to help groups of people to make music. I'm a voice teacher, so I usually work one-on-one with students. So I really enjoy the opportunity to make music with a big group of people.
How has this production differed from ones in the past?
Well, first of all, it's a really big group of people. We have assembled the largest cast of singers and actors since I've been doing shows, which is about 10 years, and there are about 45 members in the cast, which is quite large for us. Other differences, the musical reads a lot like a modern movie would, in that there is pretty much constant music. So there's lots of dialogue that is underscored by music that provides mood to the scene, which is a little difficult for the orchestra to do, in that we're separated from the cast by quite a distance down here. Those would be the two main differences. Each show we've done, it's the nice thing about working with Mike McIntyre is you never do the same thing twice. Every show has its own unique properties and styles, and it's just a lot of fun to explore all the different ones.
Has this production differed in any ways from productions in the past?
Well, I guess just the major way is it's larger. The thing about the show that I keep reminding our actors of is that unlike most musicals, you don't find 2, 3, 4, 5 real heavy principles. What I mean by that is characters who have been given sort of most of the work within the show, who get most of the songs, who get most of the stage time. This show focuses on such a vast array of different characters. Crew of the ship, first class passengers, second class, third class passengers. And it tells the stories of an awful lot of them, which for our department, which for our participants is fantastic because you get to see several different actors and all with some great moments within the show. We get to feature so much talent this time around. It's just a real pleasure.
If you didn't have tickets to tonight's performance, don't worry. There are still some unsold tickets for the final performance tomorrow night. They can be purchased by calling the Jamestown College box office at 701-252-3467, extension 2435, or by emailing tickets@jc.edu. The Jimmy men's and women's basketball teams both played tonight against Dordt College at the Civic Center. For the women, it was their 5th game, but only the 2nd game for the men. The Jimmy men's and women's cross-country teams are in San Marcos, California this weekend as they compete in the NAIA-AII Conference Qualifying Meet. The meet starts tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., West Coast time, of course. The Jimmy women's wrestling team is heading to Marshall, Missouri to compete in the Missouri Valley Open tomorrow. Meanwhile, the men's wrestling team is headed to Brookings, South Dakota on Sunday to compete in the Warren Williamson Daktronic Open at South Dakota State University. Thank you for joining me tonight, and just a quick reminder to turn back your clocks tomorrow night as daylight saving time ends. At JCTV, we always attempt to connect the campus with the community. Be sure to check out our website at www.jccollegian.com. I'm Matthew Nies in Jamestown.